Hello everyone. Well, I, Dr. Garima Khanna, welcome you all to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to discuss about nucleophilic aromatic substitution reactions. We all know what aromatic compounds are and are also familiar with their electrophilic substitution reactions. We know that aromatic compounds, due to their electron-rich nature, undergoes electrophilic substitution reactions quite readily. But these aromatic compounds are also known to undergo nucleophilic aromatic substitution reactions. And the most common reagents, or sorry, the most common substrates for these types of reactions are aryl halides due to the presence of a good leaving group, a good leaving halogen group. Okay, so we all know that alkyl halides undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions that we have already studied, and the two most common mechanisms by which they undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions are SN1 and SN2. And if we compare the reactivity of an aryl halide and alkyl halides towards nucleophilic substitution reactions, it is found that aryl halides are much less reactive towards these kinds of reactions as compared to alkyl halides. So the reasons for that are as follows. The first and the foremost reason is the carbon halogen bond strength. The carbon halogen bond in the case of aryl halide is stronger due to the presence of a sp2 hybridized carbon, as compared to the one in the case of alkyl halides. And carbon halogen bond breaking is usually the rate determining step in the nucleophilic substitution reactions. So stronger the bond, difficult will be the bond breaking, and slower is going to be the rate of reaction. Now we know that nucleophilic substitution reactions are known to be undergoing by two different types of mechanism, SN1 and SN2 pathways, or we can say. So if we expect an aryl halide to undergo reaction via SN1 mechanism, then it would lead to the formation of an aryl carbocation. For example, as we are seeing here in this particular image, it is a mono-substituted benzene compound with a leaving group, which is usually halogens. We can also have certain other good leaving group. Okay, so in the SN1 pathway, if it undergoes reaction via SN1 pathway, it would require, or it would lead to the formation of this phenyl carbocation as shown. But this phenyl carbocation is highly unstable, not formed. Okay, and this precludes the SN1 reaction pathway for these types of reaction. Now the other type of mechanism, which is SN2, that is also not possible here in the case of aryl halides, because the optimal transition state geometry which is required for SN2 is inaccessible in the case of aryl halides, because the ring itself is blocking the approach of the nucleophile from the side opposite to the carbon halogen bond. We know in the SN2 the nucleophile attacks from the side opposite to that of the leaving group, which is not possible here in the case of aryl halides. So due to these reasons, aryl halides, they are very much less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. But these reactions are still known to be, they are known to occur. A few specially substituted benzenes, they do undergo these kinds of reactions, and we require the presence of the strong electron withdrawing groups such as nitro or cyano for these kinds of reactions to take place. And the other thing, even if an inactivated aryl halide is taken, which means it does not have the presence of a strong electron withdrawing group, even those can undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions under extreme conditions and in the presence of a strong base that we shall be discussing in the video ahead. So two types of the mechanism, they are most common in the case of nucleophilic aromatic substitution reaction. The first being the addition elimination reaction known as SNR more commonly. So this kind of the mechanism, it prevails in the case where the electron withdrawing group, strong electron withdrawing group such as nitro are present on the ring. Okay, and these groups, they need to be present at the position ortho or para to the leaving group. This is very important. If it is at meta position, it is not going to be that easy, whereas if it is at ortho or the para positions, the reactions are going to be much easier. Okay, the reaction, this kind of reaction is a second order reaction. Okay, because the rate depends on the substrate, suppose the aryl halide, and the nucleophile also. Okay, the rate determining step in this case is the addition of the nucleophile, and it leads to the formation of an anionic intermediate. And so more stable the anionic intermediate, faster is going to be the rate of reaction, and it is the presence of these electron withdrawing groups which we mentioned earlier is going to make this anionic intermediate more stable. Okay, and then the carbon hydrogen bond cleavage is not involved in the rate determining step. This is here, to be noted here, that the carbon hydrogen bond cleavage, this bond breaking is not the RDS. So, and this is also supported by the fact that aryl fluorides react fastest. We all know, if we compare all the aryl halides like halides, that is aryl fluorides, chlorides, bromides, and iodides, out of all these, the aryl fluorides, in that case, the carbon hydrogen bond is strongest. So we would expect that this kind of a compound, means an aryl fluoride, will be undergoing the reaction at a very slow rate. But on the contrary, it is the one which is reacting fastest, in spite of the fact that the carbon fluorine bond is more stronger. So which clearly shows that this bond cleavage is not involved in the rate determining step. Okay, so we're going to discuss about this mechanism just after a little while. Then the other type of the mechanism which is possible for nucleophilic aromatic substitution reactions is elimination addition mechanism, which is known as Benzene mechanism. So in the previous one it was first addition and then elimination, and this one Benzene one, it is first elimination and addition. So this kind of mechanism is operative usually in the unactivated halobenzenes and under extreme reaction conditions, or in the presence of the strong bases. So we all are familiar with the Dow's process for the formation of the phenol, which takes place from chlorobenzene. So chlorobenzene is reacted with NaOH, which is a base, at very high temperature. And at this very high temperature, what happens that this Cl is being replaced by a OH group. Obviously, since we have taken NaOH, so the phenol so formed is converted to its phenoxide form, and then later on it has to be acidified to get the phenol. So here the mechanism which is operating is actually Benzene mechanism. Also, if you don't take the extreme conditions like these, okay, base will be required in all these cases. We would be requiring a nucleophile, but instead of using these kinds of reaction conditions, if we use a very strong base such as soda amide in liquid ammonia, so that then also it is possible to carry out the nucleophilic substitution reaction. And here you will notice that the reaction does not require high temperature, rather it takes place at very low temperature of minus 33 degrees Celsius. Okay, so in these two reactions, both the reaction where in one case we have taken NaOH and very high temperature, in the other case we have taken a very strong base, soda amide and liquid ammonia, the temperatures are quite different, and in both these reactions it is Benzene mechanism which would be operating. So this is the addition elimination mechanism. So which is the first step is the attack of the nucleophile. Here we have taken methoxide as a nucleophile just for an example, and a fluoro group is present here, and if you can see we have a nitro group at the position para to fluoro. So the carbon to which fluorine is attached, it is going to be electron deficient. So your nucleophile attacks at that carbon. The C double bond C bond is broken up, and you get a anionic intermediate here, which is resonance stabilized as shown here. And this anionic intermediate is known as mesenhymer complex. Okay, so the first step is the attack of the nucleophile, that is the addition of the nucleophile, which is the rate determining step. Then you have seen that how this negative charge is being delocalized over the entire ring. Okay, and since you have a nitro group present at the position para, this negative charge is also delocalized on that nitro group. So you have an additional resonating structure here, which you can see that this negative charge is being delocalized on the nitro group, which this is actually the main reason that why we require a nitro or electron withdrawing group at the ortho or a para position, because if it is present at meta position, this kind of the delocalization which is shown here in the third step is not possible. So this is what is going to actually make the reaction more easy. Then in the last step, it is the removal of the leaving group, that is fluoride is going to be leaving from the intermediate, and you're going to get your final compound in which your fluoro group, the halogen group, has been replaced by a nucleophile, which is OCH3 in this case. Okay. So in the other type of the mechanism where you do not have such activating groups present, activating means the groups which are activating the compound towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay, so it is the benzyne mechanism which is operative, but what is the requirement? That you require a very strong base like soda amide. So what happens in this case? You have taken soda amide, so the amide being a very strong base is going to abstract a proton, but from the position ortho to Cl. So it is going to abstract a proton and leading to the formation of a carbon ion shown here. And then what happens in the next step? Then the chloride group leaves and gives you an intermediate known as benzene, which is, if you see here, it is having a C triple bond C bond, a triple bond inside the ring, which, and this benzene is highly unstable. Okay. And if you just see the star here, it is the carbon which is attached to hydrogen is actually labeled to actually see that how does the reaction proceeds. Okay, so once you have got the benzene, what happens now? The amide attacks on this triple bond because this is very weak. You know that the C double bond C, the bond angles in the case of benzene is around 120 degrees, and then the overlapping of the orbital to get a triple bond, and this bond will not be that much stable because triple bonds up when they are present in a compound, that particular bond, the bond angle is 180 degree, which is not possible in this compound to be achieved. So this triple bond is highly unstable. The amide group attacks on the triple bond. Now it can attack on either of the two carbons, one the labeled carbon to which your halogen was attached earlier, and it can also attack to the other carbon which is actually ortho to that position, to the carbon where your fluoro group was attached. So either the attack at either position is going to give you what? Aniline here. Okay, so amide is going to attack to give you a carbanionic intermediate which is going to abstract a proton from ammonia and is going to give you aniline. Okay, so you have seen here, if you just do not take the labeled chlorobenzene, you would be end up getting aniline. Both these compounds are actually same, but this labeling tells you that the mechanism, that the attack can take place at any carbon in the benzene. Okay, thank you.